man, is there anything more fun than jamming in the studio with your buddies? That's my dear friend Anthony, or Fu as he's known in the business. And that's Fu's new studio on the Sunshine Coast that we're jamming in. This has been something that has been so far off my radar for so long. Yeah, I can't believe that it took running around from a bunch of wildfire and getting evacuated from my studio this summer to re-inspire me to jam with my buddies. 25 years ago, this is something that we got up to every time we went in the studio. And I know why, because the studio was about the only place that we could actually patch everything in. It wasn't unusual for the studios we were working in to have maybe a 56 or 72 input analog console at the heart and at the center of that studio. Well, oh man, that is an engineering dream, to set up a bunch of musicians and plug everybody into that console and be able to have everybody hear themselves. Oh yeah, I can't even count the number of jams that I set up back in the day. Now I'm gonna go out on a bit of a limb here and assume that I'm not alone. I'm probably not the only one that sort of moved away from this live jam mode that we used to get up to. Over the past couple of decades, we've sort of moved away from the mainframe studio, and everyone's sort of moved into their little satellite facilities, just like I'm sitting in today. Traditionally, those jams were such an important part of every session. We would always make sure that the job at hand was completed with time enough to do a good jam at the end of it. And this is something that has just sort of fallen off the radar for me. Now, between the two of us, Fu and I have assembled literally an arsenal of hardware over the years, but neither one of us have a mainframe analog console to drop in the middle of the room. Oh man, it didn't take us very long to realize we don't need an analog console. We've got all this hardware, and by bringing some of that hardware together and combining it, we can create an awesome virtual console, something that has tons of inputs, as well as combining one of our old Pro Tools TDM rigs to create a multi-track capture machine. Back in the day, I would just capture our jams on a DAT tape. I would literally have all kinds of inputs coming into the console, and whatever mix we were hearing through the speakers, we would capture on a DAT. Well, it didn't take long for Fu and I to realize that we've got all this crazy hardware, and it wouldn't take much effort for us to combine and build a full-blown and isolated capture machine. A multi-track tape machine, basically, that could just capture 24 tracks of whatever we're jamming out. So no question, we're gonna build a killer jam room. Not just something for us to play in, but something that we can invite guest musicians into. Yeah, the goal definitely is to create a really functional little jam room. Something where the technology does not get in the way of the creativity. And in my own experience, that takes some effort. That takes a lot of effort up front to create a system that doesn't slow you down, something that doesn't bottleneck in certain areas. And this is gonna be an awesome experience to share on the channel, just because I know that we're gonna have all kinds of issues, all kinds of stuff that we have to sort out technically and come up with solutions for. So can't wait to share all those on the channel. Yeah, the last thing we wanna do is invite an outside musician to come and jam with us and then spend the next 2 hours sorting out sync or something. All of that stuff has to be just ready to go, so that when your musician comes in with their modular rig or whatever, they set it down on the desk and you're boom, inputs, outputs, sync, clock, set and ready. Literally where everybody's up and running in a matter of minutes. In my own experience, that's the path to creativity. Eliminating all of the technical nonsense. You can't have any of that stuff showing up when you're inviting musicians to come in and set up and jam. Got to sort all that stuff out ahead of time, and I think it's going to be a great process in doing that right here on the channel. Well, let's take a minute and skip around this little jam that Fu and I got up to, because a couple of little ideas that might be fun to develop. Another little work in progress going on here. What about some sampled radio? Well, thank you very much for sitting in on today's session. And please stay tuned in the coming months because no question, as we put this ultimate jam room together, we're gonna have to sort out some issues and some technical stuff. And I'll share it all right here as we do it, so stay tuned.